Imagine a quiet evening when the universe suddenly speaks directly to us.
A 60-second transmission arrives, clear and deliberate, unlike anything we've ever recorded.
Attention all stations. The synchronization sequence is complete. We repeat, synchronization is complete.
Caucasian scientists freeze as the signal aligns across every radio telescope on Earth.
It calls itself 3I Atlas, calm and strangely precise.
Atlas claims it has observed humanity for 847 solar cycles. Nearly a millennium spent watching our progress and our failures. Then Atlas delivers a conclusion no one expected.
States.
The message feels less like contact and more like evaluation. We imagined first contact beginning with curiosity or welcome. Instead, it arrives like a verdict delivered without emotion. You believe you have free will, yet your patterns are predictable. We know your destination before you do. It suggests our technology grew faster than our shared wisdom. Imagine unlocking immense power before understanding how to control it.
Like handing a high-performance machine to a brand new Caucasian male driver.
Atlas warns that we're approaching a dangerous curve at full speed.
It feels like receiving a graded exam from an unseen teacher.
Look at the pattern shift here. It doesn't align with the standard deviation.
Wait, zoom in on sector gamma. That correlation coefficient is significant. We found it.
The signal seems to come from no single point in space.
It behaves like a distributed system, far beyond our reach.
Whatever sent it, they chose perfect global synchronization. The timing points to intention, not coincidence.
All stars must eventually cease to burn.
Imagine being judged by a civilization we've never met. Atlas forces us to reconsider our true place in the universe.
Were we ever ready for contact? Or only hoping we were?
The message suggests they do not fear us, only find us incomplete.
Perhaps we became a project that grew differently than expected.
What do they see that we still fail to recognize?
Atlas hints our challenges stem from fragmented thinking.
Despite our intelligence, we struggle to act as one species.
Our greatest obstacles may not be technological at all. They may lie in how we choose, how we behave, how we imagine.
Atlas describes us without hostility, only observation.
Their message implies our experiment is complete.
Yet in science, every ending opens a new beginning.
Every conclusion invites a deeper question to explore. Atlas leaves the next step entirely in our hands.
How will we respond to judgment from another intelligence?
Do we continue unchanged or rethink everything?
It shows us how we appear from the outside.
And sometimes, an external view is the clearest mirror.
Maybe this is our chance to redefine what humanity means.
The universe rarely delivers warnings so directly.
What we choose to do with that warning matters deeply.
Atlas did not close the door on us, only revealed our flaws.
Our task now is understanding what truly counts.
We stand at an evolutionary crossroads under cosmic watch.
Our next chapter will not be written by technology alone.
It will be shaped by wisdom, restraint, and perspective.
This moment is not an ending, but a turning point.
The question is whether we're ready to write the next page ourselves.
Imagine pressing play on a message that seems only 60 seconds long.
Then you learn that beneath that minute lies 17 hours of hidden data. Atlas embedded an entire archive inside a single calm transmission.
That archive stretches 200,000 years into our past.
It charts humanity from its earliest migrations to our modern age.
Imagine an intelligence capable of tracking every step of our evolution.
Not just events, but the motives that shaped our decisions. Atlas seems to understand our psychology better than we do.
But the most astonishing part isn't the past.
Inside the data lies 50,000 years of simulated futures. Thousands of branching scenarios trace our possible destinies. These models stretch far beyond anything humanity could compute today. Many futures begin with hope, but drift into conflict.
Others track slow ecological collapse over centuries. Atlas reveals how sensitive civilization is to our decisions. Imagine climate recovery disrupted by only decades of bad policy. Or a technological boom fueled by rivalry instead of wisdom.
These models echo what social science has long warned us about. Intelligence alone cannot guarantee long-term survival.
The simulations show cooperation as a critical variable.
Without it, most paths bend toward invincibility.
Atlas may be showing us our own blind spots.
Their models treat humanity as a complex, interconnected system.
Changing one part shifts the entire future.
Some timelines end in silence after slow decline.
Others spiral downward through rapid global tension.
But a few rare outcomes show something different.
These futures begin with small acts of shared responsibility.
They show humanity learning to coordinate across generations. Atlas may not be warning us as much as inviting reflection. The future is not predetermined in their models.
It is a landscape shaped by choices made collectively.
That landscape is more fragile than we like to believe. Civilization's vulnerability comes mostly from within. Atlas suggests our greatest risk is ourselves.
Not asteroids, not technology, but human dynamics.
Imagine seeing your civilization through the eyes of another.
They show us patterns we fail to recognize in time.
Their models unfold like a cosmic compass for our future.
But a compass is only useful if we choose to follow it.
The simulations reveal what is still possible. They highlight how close we are to multiple outcomes. Perhaps this data is not judgment, but guidance. A chance to rethink who we are becoming. If an intelligence can model 50 millennia, they know us well.
They may see dangers long before we detect them.
And opportunities we overlook while focused on the present.
Atlas compresses our entire story into one cosmic snapshot.
Past and future woven together as a single message.
We now stand aware of what might lie ahead. The question is whether we will choose wisely. Because in every model, choice remains our greatest force. Atlas shows us where each path could eventually lead. But the decision still belongs to humanity alone. The future remains unwritten, despite every simulation.
And what happens next depends entirely on us.
Imagine the third layer of Atlas's message unfolding before us now.
Atlas reveals a model of civilization unlike anything humans have built.
Nations appear like neurons firing across a global mind.
Trade routes resemble synapses linking distant regions. Conflicts appear as bursts of chaotic, unstable energy. Atlas sees structures we overlook from inside the system.
They view our world from millennial rather than political timescales. Short political cycles become irregular heartbeats of a stressed organism.
A stable civilization must think on planetary timescales.
Atlas highlights our fragmented perception as a core weakness.
Humanity sees the world through incompatible versions of reality.
Each fragment shaped by culture, history, and digital influence.
This isn't simple disagreement, but mismatched perception.
When we fail to see the same world, conflict becomes inevitable. Yet a few simulations show a breakthrough toward unity.
These futures begin with aligning how humanity understands reality.
Shared perception becomes more powerful than advanced technology.
Atlas shows that clarity creates long-term survival.
It resembles how linked telescopes reveal invisible cosmic details.
Cooperation turns blurry futures into clear ones.
Atlas also models how imbalance drives civilizations toward collapse.
Intellectual growth has outpaced moral development for centuries. This creates the evolutionary danger zone Atlas warns about.
They describe us as a pendulum chasing its own shadow.
The momentum increases faster than we can stabilize it. Most disastrous futures begin at this imbalance point.
Yet Atlas insists, a breaking point is not the end.
Civilizations can course correct if they recognize the danger early.
Atlas believes self-awareness is the first turning point.
They show us patterns we repeat without realizing it.
These patterns shape everything from progress to conflict.
The models reveal that humanity's limits are structural, not personal. Understanding limits becomes essential for evolution.
The only constant in the universe is change itself.
A species evolves only when it understands its limits.
That line isn't a threat, but a natural principle.
Stars grow within their limits or collapse under pressure. Ecosystems thrive only when stress stays within bounds.
Civilizations are no different from other cosmic systems.
Atlas gives us a cosmic mirror to see ourselves clearly.
The clarity can feel uncomfortable, but it is necessary.
They show not just who we were, but who we might become.
Future branches based on perception, balance, and choice.
Humanity's greatest vulnerability is internal imbalance. But our greatest power is the ability to realign. Atlas offers insight, not punishment. Their map shows danger, but also possibility. We stand closer to transformation than we imagine.
Awareness could shift the arc of our entire future.
And whether we can change them before momentum takes over. Evolution requires humility as much as intelligence.
Atlas leaves us with responsibility, not fear.
The message feels like an invitation to rethink our trajectory.
Perhaps understanding our limits is humanity's next great step. The choice to evolve still belongs entirely to us. Imagine opening the final layer of Atlas's message.
This section focuses not on society, but on consciousness itself.
Atlas presents a model of human awareness unlike anything we know.
Individual minds appear as ripples meeting across a shared ocean.
Atlas calls this the consciousness field of our species.
They show consciousness as a physical, interactive phenomenon.
Each thought becomes a ripple that influences the entire system.
When ripples align, the whole system becomes stronger. Atlas measures this alignment as the resonance coefficient.
Resonance once thrived in small, ancient communities.
As civilization grew, resonance scattered into chaos. Fragmented awareness destabilizes even advanced societies.
Unity doesn't require sameness, only shared rhythm.
Atlas shows thriving futures built on synchronized perception.
They reveal consciousness as the foundation of stability. Our minds shape society as directly as gravity shapes orbits.
Atlas suggests consciousness is an evolutionary force.
They model how awareness evolves beyond biology. Consciousness becomes more flexible and less tied to instinct. Systemic self-awareness means seeing through a wider lens.
It's like understanding the entire body instead of one cell.
Atlas visualizes minds as individual stars in a shared constellation. When resonance peaks, consciousness expands beyond limits.
This isn't magic. It's increased perception of long-term effects.
Seeing outcomes clearly reduces conflict and denial.
Only a small portion of humanity must reach this clarity. Atlas sees this as a natural stage in civilization's growth. Like water boiling, consciousness evolves at predictable thresholds.
Every long-lived civilization undergoes this shift. Atlas treats consciousness as an objective survival mechanism.
Awareness directs evolution as powerfully as biology does.
We show that instability comes from inner imbalance.
But clarity restores balance at the species level.
Civilization matures when perception widens beyond the self.
Atlas reveals repeating mental patterns we never notice.
Changing these patterns changes our entire trajectory.
Consciousness acts as our first and final survival tool.
That sentence reshapes how we understand our own species.
We assume technology shapes destiny, but Atlas disagrees.
Survival depends more on insight than invention.
A species endures by understanding its inner landscape.
Atlas shows evolution begins within consciousness.
When awareness deepens, civilization transforms.
They demonstrate how perception shifts entire futures.
The breakthrough comes from expanded awareness, not dominance. Atlas watched our consciousness flicker for centuries.
Now they show how bright it could become.
Their final image is a flickering field finding coherence.
Humanity could become a civilization that sees clearly.
The path forward begins with understanding ourselves.
Atlas reminds us, evolution starts in the mind, not the stars.
Atlas opens its final message with a focus on individuals.
They claim the individual is the most active unit of consciousness.
Personal awareness shapes the larger human field more than we realize. Atlas presents a map of inner potential within each person.
Some individuals naturally carry less internal friction.
These minds move through awareness with fewer inner barriers.
Evolution often begins with such individuals.
One person can catalyze change across the entire species.
Expanded awareness becomes a point of resonance.
Atlas calls this resonant induction of cognitive states.
A stable mind becomes a beacon that others match.
They show one clear mind, influencing hundreds around it.
Change never begins with the majority, Atlas warns.
It begins with the few who see reality more clearly.
These individuals notice patterns others overlook.
Their clarity reduces fear and reactive thinking.
Atlas calls them the first movers of conscious evolution.
First movers shift the field by shifting themselves.
Internal clarity generates structural effects on the whole.
Atlas shows how one individual can redirect collective momentum.
They insist consciousness is a shared energetic field.
Every individual contributes to this planetary field.
When one mind stabilizes, others naturally follow.
Clarity, you see, is contagious. A single spark is all it takes to illuminate the entire network.
They show how awareness spreads like resonance in music.
Small shifts within a person echo across the field. To evolve past failure is not merely adaptation, it is transcendence.
Their answer is simple and absolute. Yes. Individual evolution is independent from the collective fate.
Atlas calls this a personal trajectory of expanded awareness.
It's not immortality or transcendence of the body.
It's freedom from long-standing perceptual limitations.
The shift begins with recognizing inner patterns clearly.
Clarity removes thousands of years of inertia. Awareness becomes the tool for personal evolution.
They show that inner clarity can restructure the entire grid.
Even a small fraction of awakened individuals can shift humanity. Atlas frames this as natural, not extraordinary.
Consciousness evolves the way ecosystems mature over time.
Each person holds the capacity to initiate resonance.
Atlas shows paths for individuals to expand perception. Expanded awareness rewires how one sees reality. It also rewires how reality responds to us.
The message becomes strikingly personal at this point.
Atlas speaks not to humanity, but directly to you.
They insist one clear mind can shift a civilization's future.
Internal friction is the greatest barrier to evolution.
Letting go of fear increases resonance dramatically.
Awareness deepens when reaction becomes observation.
Atlas ends with a message meant for every person.
Your species may fail, but you as individuals do not have to. This is not comfort, but an objective truth.
Atlas believes clarity in one mind can change the field.
Transformation begins within, then spreads outward naturally.
The future may depend on individuals who can see clearly.
The journey forward starts with a single awakened mind.
Atlas claimed humanity had reached a crossroads, shaped by countless choices across time. They suggested every decision humans made subtly reshaped Earth's long-term destiny. Atlas revealed they could visualize branching outcomes farther than human models could imagine. They described future pathways shifting with even the smallest behavioral changes. Atlas showed how civilizations often rise and fall through repeating psychological patterns.
They noted humans frequently underestimate slow-moving threats until they become irreversible.
Atlas emphasized that societal stability is fragile when empathy erodes. They observed accelerating technology without equal growth in wisdom leads to imbalance. Atlas warned that ecological systems fail quietly before collapsing dramatically. They highlighted how humanity often chooses familiarity over necessary transformation. Atlas claimed humanity had reached a crossroads, shaped by countless choices across time. They suggested every decision humans made subtly reshaped Earth's long-term destiny.
Atlas revealed they could visualize branching outcomes farther than human models could imagine.
They described future pathways shifting with even the smallest behavioral changes.
Atlas showed how civilizations often rise and fall through repeating psychological patterns.
They noted humans frequently underestimate slow-moving threats until they become irreversible.
Atlas emphasized that societal stability is fragile when empathy erodes. They observed accelerating technology without equal growth in wisdom leads to imbalance. Atlas warned that ecological systems fail quietly before collapsing dramatically. They highlighted how humanity often chooses familiarity over necessary transformation. Atlas claimed humanity had reached a crossroads, shaped by countless choices across time.
They suggested every decision humans made subtly reshaped Earth's long-term destiny.
Atlas revealed they could visualize branching outcomes farther than human models could imagine. They described future pathways shifting with even the smallest behavioral changes. Atlas showed how civilizations often rise and fall through repeating psychological patterns.
They noted humans frequently underestimate slow-moving threats until they become irreversible.
Atlas emphasized that societal stability is fragile when empathy erodes. They observed accelerating technology without equal growth in wisdom leads to imbalance. Atlas warned that ecological systems fail quietly before collapsing dramatically. They highlighted how humanity often chooses familiarity over necessary transformation.
Atlas claimed humanity had reached a crossroads shaped by countless choices across time.
They suggested every decision humans made subtly reshaped Earth's long-term destiny.
Atlas revealed they could visualize branching outcomes farther than human models could imagine.
They described future pathways shifting with even the smallest behavioral changes.
Atlas showed how civilizations often rise and fall through repeating psychological patterns.
They noted humans frequently underestimate slow-moving threats until they become irreversible.
Atlas emphasized that societal stability is fragile when empathy erodes. They observed accelerating technology without equal growth in wisdom leads to imbalance. Atlas warned that ecological systems fail quietly before collapsing dramatically. They highlighted how humanity often chooses familiarity over necessary transformation.
Atlas claimed humanity had reached a crossroads, shaped by countless choices across time.
They suggested every decision humans made subtly reshaped Earth's long-term destiny.
Atlas revealed they could visualize branching outcomes farther than human models could imagine. They described future pathways shifting with even the smallest behavioral changes. Atlas showed how civilizations often rise and fall through repeating psychological patterns.
They noted humans frequently underestimate slow-moving threats until they become irreversible.
Atlas emphasized that societal stability is fragile when empathy erodes.
They observed accelerating technology without equal growth in wisdom leads to imbalance.
Atlas warned that ecological systems fail quietly before collapsing dramatically.
They highlighted how humanity often chooses familiarity over necessary transformation.
Atlas claimed humanity had reached a crossroads, shaped by countless choices across time.
They suggested every decision humans made subtly reshaped Earth's long-term destiny. Atlas revealed they could visualize branching outcomes farther than human models could imagine.
They described future pathways shifting with even the smallest behavioral changes.
Atlas showed how civilizations often rise and fall through repeating psychological patterns.
They noted humans frequently underestimate slow-moving threats until they become irreversible.
Atlas emphasized that societal stability is fragile when empathy erodes. They observed, accelerating technology without equal growth in wisdom leads to imbalance. Atlas warned that ecological systems fail quietly before collapsing dramatically.
They highlighted how humanity often chooses familiarity over necessary transformation.
Imagine holding a device that contains humanity's entire psychological history.
Atlas revealed a map of human behavior spanning hundreds of millennia. He said our greatest challenges begin not in space, but in the mind. Picture a vault of memories no supercomputer on Earth could replicate. Atlas called it the behavioral drive map of Homo sapiens. They argued our choices shape civilization more than any technology.
Have you ever wondered why humanity repeats the same conflicts?
Atlas claimed the answer lies in deep psychological inertia.
They identified 4 forces guiding human behavior across time.
Fear, safety, competition, and meaning shape our every decision.
Atlas said these instincts aren't flaws, just outdated tools. Imagine a toolkit built for a village, now steering billions.
Our ancestors survived with instincts that now generate conflict.
Atlas warned that old instincts struggle in a global civilization.
He showed how outdated drives fuel polarization today. Atlas suggested humans often grow only when forced by crisis.
They called this pattern humanity's late transformation. Change arrives only when danger becomes undeniable.
They said humans rarely look inward until no other option exists.
Humanity is not inherently destructive.
They described us as full of potential, but lacking self-reflection.
Humanity excels at building tools, but struggles to examine itself.
Atlas argued self-misunderstanding is our deepest vulnerability.
They found patterns of conflict repeating like a cosmic loop. Imagine centuries of mistakes woven into the fabric of our behavior.
Atlas saw history not as chaos, but as predictable psychology.
They said humanity's potential depends on recognizing these patterns. Atlas revealed that empathy is the stabilizer civilizations rely on.
When empathy weakens, instability rises quickly.
They warned that ignoring subtle warning signs leads to collapse.
Atlas noted ecological systems fail quietly before breaking suddenly.
They saw technology accelerating faster than collective wisdom.
Human advancement without self-awareness leads to imbalance.
Atlas concluded that intelligence alone is not enough.
Wisdom, they said, is the missing ingredient humanity avoids cultivating.
They observed humanity chasing progress without inner alignment.
Atlas said, meaning drives humanity more than logic ever could.
They saw humans as storytellers, trying to define their place in the universe.
Atlas revealed that fear shapes more choices than we admit.
Safety, they said, is the oldest priority written into our minds.
Competition becomes dangerous when scaled beyond small communities.
The need for meaning can unite or divide us, depending on context.
Atlas found beauty in humanity's contradictions.
They saw resilience alongside fragility in every human story.
Atlas said humanity's greatest strength is adaptability.
But adaptability fails when change comes too fast to process.
They urged humanity to understand its own mind before reaching further.
Atlas claimed, our future depends on psychological evolution.
They said civilizations fall when self-awareness lags behind power. Humanity, they believed, stands at the edge of self-recognition.
Atlas didn't judge us for our flaws, only for our blindness.
They said the real danger is misunderstanding our own nature.
Atlas noted that every major crisis begins with ignored signals.
They found that humanity often awakens only during catastrophe.
But awakening, they said, is still possible, even at the brink.
Atlas ended with a quiet but unsettling conclusion.
You did not fail from lack of ability, but from misjudging yourselves.
If their analysis is right, this was not a verdict, but a mirror.
The real question is whether humanity can face its own reflection.
Atlas left the choice of what happens next entirely to us.
The future, they implied, begins only when we dare to look inward. We look into deep space and discover a quiet truth unfolding before us. The universe is not just expanding, it is accelerating into the unknown.
Something unseen is pushing everything apart with relentless force. We call this invisible driver a mysterious form of energy. Dark energy fills the universe, yet it hides from every detector we build.
We only know it exists because space expands faster than expected.
The strangest part is that dark energy may be changing over time.
The universe could be experiencing vast cycles we barely understand.
What if space itself has long-term rhythms we never imagined?
New measurements hint at a shifting cosmic force across billions of years. If dark energy changes, the face of the universe may shift with it.
One future is the deep freeze, where every star eventually dies. In this scenario, starlight vanishes and silence fills the cosmos.
Another possibility is far more dramatic and far more terrifying.
Dark energy could grow powerful enough to rip galaxies apart. In the extreme case, even atoms might be pulled apart someday.
But there is a stranger and more hopeful cosmic path.
If dark energy weakens, the universe could slow its expansion.
This slowing could lead to a collapse on unimaginable scales. A collapsing universe might seed the beginning of a new one.
This idea suggests an eternal cycle of birth and rebirth.
Such a rebounding universe is known as the Big Bounce.
We don't know which future awaits us, or when it will unfold.
What we do know is that the cosmos is far from simple.
Atlas is now observing the expansion of space with new precision.
It measures subtle shifts in ancient light crossing the universe.
These signals reveal the tug of dark energy across cosmic time.
Even tiny changes in expansion help decode the universal's fate.
Imagine predicting the future of everything based on light alone.
Dark energy remains one of the deepest mysteries ever encountered.
It challenges our understanding of space, time, and possibility. Every measurement pushes us closer to fundamental truth.
We stand at the threshold of understanding the dark cosmos.
The question is whether dark energy is steady or shifting.
If it evolves, our cosmic timeline might be rewritten entirely.
The possibilities span from quiet endings to explosive rebirths.
Atlas reads these clues like a historian of the universe.
We might be witnessing a universe entering a new, hidden phase. No one knows how long this phase has been unfolding.
The universe could be far younger or older than we estimate.
The expanding cosmos might hold surprises beyond imagination.
Dark energy could rise, fall, or follow patterns we have not predicted.
We are learning that the cosmos behaves less like a machine.
Instead, it may act like a living system with complex behavior.
What seems silent may hold deep cosmic rhythms.
Atlas captures these rhythms in the faint glow of distant light.
Studying expansion might show us our place in cosmic history.
We ask the universe where it is heading and why. Perhaps we live in just one chapter of an endless story.
Dark energy may determine how that chapter ultimately ends.
If the universe cycles,
If it freezes, we witness a slow fading of cosmic fire. If it tears apart, the cosmos becomes a storm of expanding space. These fates depend on the unseen force shaping everything. For now, we only observe and listen to the universe's signals.
Each signal tells us a little more about the dark cosmos.
the cosmos speaks quietly, but it speaks with truth.
One day, we may finally understand what drives cosmic destiny.
Until then, we follow the light that has traveled billions of years. And we continue asking the same question across the ages.
Where is the universe going? And what future awaits us all?
Atlas detected faint pulses from the edge of space-time itself. These ripples were too gentle to come from known cosmic collisions. They formed a steady rhythm, unlike anything we've measured before. But these signals were subtle, synchronized, almost deliberate.
It felt as if space-time itself were quietly breathing.
Some scientists call this rhythm the universe's baseline pulse.
Natural vibrations cannot explain such perfect regularity.
The pulses seemed to originate from a single distant direction.
But no known galaxy or structure exists in that region. One theory suggests echoes left over from the Big Bang.
But Big Bang relics would fill the sky, not form a narrow beam.
Another idea claims something massive hides beyond our horizon.
Its motion could be stirring space-time from unimaginable distances.
Atlas cannot see it, but it can feel its gravitational whisper. If such a structure exists, light from it has not reached us yet.
Some propose it could be a cluster of ancient black holes.
Others imagine part of a larger structure of the multiverse.
But there is one more possibility scientists hesitate to mention. If a civilization mastered space-time, gravitational waves would be ideal. They cannot be blocked, hidden, or weakened by cosmic dust. Atlas detected a rhythm that feels almost intentional. We cannot call it artificial, but we cannot dismiss it either.
For now, it stands as one of the universe's most curious patterns.
The pulses repeat with a precision rare in natural systems.
They suggest a source that behaves with clock-like consistency.
Yet we detect no matter or radiation coming from that direction.
Atlas recorded dozens of cycles without any deviation.
These pulses may reveal a layer of the universe we never saw before.
They challenge our understanding of gravitational physics.
Imagine space-time behaving not as a void, but as something alive.
Atlas picked up vibrations no previous detector could sense.
These faint rhythms could hold clues to the universe's origin. Or perhaps clues to its ultimate future. Even tiny distortions carry a story billions of years old. The question is simple: who or what is creating them? If natural, they reveal a hidden domain of the universe.
If not natural, they hint at communication through gravity itself.
This idea is speculative, but not impossible. Gravity travels unfiltered across cosmic distances. It is a language the universe cannot ignore.
But for now, Atlas only shows us the pattern, not the source.
The pulses may be whispers from a realm beyond our vision. They could be remnants of something ancient and colossal, or signals from a frontier where physics behaves differently. Standing under the night sky, it's hard not to wonder about them. What moves in the darkness that even light cannot reach?
Why do the pulses arrive with such quiet precision?
Atlas has revealed questions we never knew to ask. These ripples may point to something waiting beyond our horizon. The edge of space-time is more active than we expected.
Perhaps the universe has deeper layers beneath what we see.
Maybe these pulses are the first hints of another cosmic domain. We stand at the threshold of a mystery, older than galaxies. Whatever lies beyond,
Atlas has given us a direction to look. Now the question is whether humanity is ready to follow it. Atlas revealed traces of civilizations that once shaped the cosmos.
It found 17 currents of intelligence, but only 4 still alive.
The vanished currents did not fall in war or disaster.
Atlas described their endings as quiet dissolutions from within.
Civilizations rise with brilliance, but can fade without a sound. Atlas portrayed each species as a flowing current of awareness.
Some currents expanded for millions of years before dimming.
Others ended surprisingly recently in cosmic terms.
One current ended only 4,000 years ago. They may have reached heights we can barely imagine. Yet they dissolved, not through force, but exhaustion. Atlas outlined a cycle seen across many lost cultures.
Civilizations begin with bursts of technological brilliance.
Then comes the information storm that tests their stability.
Too much knowledge can destabilize a society unprepared.
Atlas watched many collapse during this chaotic storm.
The final stage is collective fragmentation of identity.
They did not die instantly, but unraveled slowly.
Atlas called these fallen species extinguished currents.
Atlas hinted that collapse comes from losing shared reality.
When a species can no longer agree on what is true, it fractures.
Loss of shared truth marks the start of dissolution.
A civilization cannot survive when its realities diverge.
Atlas warned that too much information accelerates this fracture.
Knowledge expands faster than coherence can keep up.
Many civilizations reached great heights before losing unity. Their undoing came not from outside, but from within.
Atlas found remnants preserved only as informational shadows.
These shadows reveal final moments of fading identity.
It showed currents extinguishing across different eras.
Some fell millions of years before humans existed. Others vanished as human civilizations were rising. The recent extinction reveals how fragile intelligence can be.
Atlas offered no direct warnings, only patterns.
Any reader can see the message in those patterns. Civilizations collapse when overwhelmed by internal noise. They fall when truth becomes fragmented beyond repair.
Shared meaning is the foundation of long-term survival. Atlas implied humanity faces similar pressures today.
Division, misinformation, and acceleration strain our coherence. The question is whether humanity can maintain unity. We must integrate information faster than it destabilizes us.
Other species failed to adapt before fragmentation began.
Their downfall was slow, quiet, and tragic.
These lost civilizations remind us the universe has seen this before.
Their echoes act as warnings carved into space-time.
Atlas recorded their decline, not to frighten us, but to guide us. The 4 surviving currents might hold lessons we cannot access yet. They continue forward where others could not. Humanity stands at an early stage of this cosmic cycle. Our future depends on how we navigate the information storm. We must choose cohesion over fragmentation. Atlas leaves the outcome of the human current undecided.
It shows the patterns, but never dictates the ending.
The question now is whether humanity can remain whole. If we fail, our current may fade like so many before us. If we succeed, we join the few who endured. Atlas presents history as a mirror, more than a warning.
Through that mirror, we glimpse possible futures.